Okay. There we go. So, hello. We're going to do our reading down here tonight. All I see is glare on my glasses. But that's okay because the light's behind us. Okay. So I'll be seeing glare, but you won't. Okay. Because it is almost 6 o'clock, and he fell asleep yesterday at 5:30ish. So now we're in like kind of the, not the danger zone, but bedtime is near. So tomorrow might be the last time we have to pre-record these. Anyway, and also last night's video went up late because I have 2 YouTube channels. I have a private one for myself, and then I have a public one so I can see what he watches, and that's the one that I upload these videos on. So if you go to like my favorites page on this, you'll see a lot of Veggie Tales and stuff like that. I think if you dig deep in there, there's some that I've liked personally, but yeah, once he became interested in YouTube, I allowed him to get onto my channel and make a second account for myself. Anyway, nice little digression there. Today, I'm gonna say tonight, but well, it's 6 o'clock, so kind of tonight. Still very much daylight. We're gonna continue with the compilation books of stories, and we're going to start My Story Bible, and it's got 66 favorite stories. These people's favorite stories. The big ones, you know, the big stories, the main ones, that most people will know. So, we're gonna start that. What do you think about that, Mr. Tacky Pants? And you had another good day at school. I'm liking this. This whole new attitude of having a good time at school is really great. And I'm really pleased. Last year was rough for me. Last year was a rough year. There were a lot of notices about bad days, but you know, we're only 2 days in. So far, so far it's good. Anyway, all right, let's get started here. I don't remember who got this for you. Maybe me? Maybe Albert? I don't know. We've had it since you were a baby. All right. God made the world. You ready? You're starting. You can pay attention mildly? Probably not. Long, long ago, at the beginning of time, God said, "Let there be light," and bright, shining light shone in the darkness. God said, "Let there be land and sea." So he made wide land and tall mountains and deep water in the sea. God said, "Let there be trees and plants, sun, moon, and stars." The plants produced juicy fruits in the hot sunshine. At night they were cool under the silver moon and twinkly stars. God said, "Let there be fish and all sorts of winged creatures." So the sea swam with fish, and the sky was filled with birds and butterflies. God said, "Let there be all kinds of animals." So snakes slithered and giraffes galloped over the land. Monkeys swung through the trees, and hippos bathed in the rivers. God said, "Now let there be people to look after my beautiful world." And there were. God looked at his wonderful creation and saw that it was good. Then he rested. Genesis 1 and 2. Noah builds a boat. God told Noah it was going to rain very hard, so Noah built a boat. Hammer, hammer, bang, bang. It was a very, very big boat called an ark. God told Noah to take his family and 2 of each kind of animal into the ark. Plod, plod, clip, clop. They went into the ark 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Once God had closed the door of the ark, the rain started to fall. Splish, splash, splosh, sploosh. The water covered the ground. The water covered the trees. The water covered the mountaintops, but the ark bobbed along on the waves, with Noah and the animals safe inside. Days and days and days passed before the rain stopped raining. Noah opened a window to let a dove fly out. Flap, flap, coo, coo. Then at last the dove came back with a leaf in its beak. After the water went down, God told Noah it was safe for his family and the animals to come out of the ark. Then God sent a beautiful rainbow. There will never be a flood like this again, God promised. Genesis 6-9. Under the stars. A very long time ago, a man named Abram, who later became Abraham, lived in a big city called Ur. God told Abraham to leave Ur. Abraham was to go from place to place, living in a tent, until God gave him a new home. Abraham trusted God. He knew it would be a difficult journey. Abraham and his wife Sarah traveled across dry, rocky hills. It was hard for both of them. It was hard for their servants and their sheep and goats. Come and look at the stars, God said to Abraham one dark and twinkly night. You are just the beginning. There will be many, many people in your family. There will be many, many children born to many people in your family. There will be many, many children born to the people. There will be many children born to the people in your family. There will be many, just like the stars you see in the sky. Abraham was confused. He and Sarah had no children, and they were getting old. How could this be? But Abraham knew God. He knew that God always keeps his promises. Genesis 12, verse 1 through 8, verse 15. 3 visitors. One sunny day, 3 visitors came to Abraham as he sat in the shade near his tent. This was a surprise. It was very hot for traveling. Here's water for washing and drinking, said Abraham. Then he served them a meal that Sarah cooked for them. They ate bread and meat and yogurt and milk under the cool trees. Sarah stayed in the tent and hid there and listened to the men talking. You will have a child quite soon, said one of the men to Abraham. Sarah will give birth to a baby boy. Sarah laughed. I'm much too old to have a baby. I'm old enough to be a grandma. Why do you laugh? Asked the visitor. I didn't. Not really, said Sarah, feeling rather silly. Oh, yes, you did, said the visitor. But nothing is too hard for God to do. You wait and see. Then Abraham knew that the visitors were like angels from God, and that he and Sarah would have a son. They did wait, and they did see, because one day, quite soon after that, Sarah's baby boy was born. His name was Isaac. Where are you going? Here, why don't I scoot over? Wait, here. So you can sit there, okay? There we go. Isaac and Rebekah. When Isaac was growing up, his father Abraham wanted to find a good wife for him to marry. So he sent his servant on a journey back to his homeland to find one. The servant took 10 camels with him. When he stopped by a well, the servant asked God to send a girl who would bring water for him and for his 10 thirsty camels. A girl like that would be a good wife for Isaac. The servant watched as a beautiful girl named Rebekah came to speak to him. Would you like some water? She asked him. Can I give your camels water too? Rebekah was very surprised when the servant gave her 2 gold bracelets. The servant met her family and found out they were related to Abraham. He gave them presents as well. He knew that God had sent him to the right place. Then he took Rebekah on the long journey back with him to Abraham and Isaac. Isaac was out in the fields when he saw Rebekah and the camels coming toward him in the distance. Soon Isaac married her, and he loved her very much. Genesis 24. Joseph and his brothers. Joseph had a beautiful coat. It was a present from his father, Jacob. Mommy's foot doesn't bend like that. Joseph had 11 brothers. They were very jealous of him. Not fair, they grumbled. Joseph had strange dreams. He dreamed about the sun and the moon and the stars. They bowed down to him. He dreamed about bundles of wheat that his brothers had grown. They all bowed down to Joseph's bundle. You think you're special, do you? Muttered his brothers. You think we'll bow down to you, do you? Ha! They were so angry that they threw Joseph into a deep, dark pit. Then they dragged him out and sold him to some traders, just as if he were a goat or a basket of fruit. They pretended a wild animal had killed him. Joseph's father was very, very sad, but God looked after Joseph. Joseph was taken to Egypt, and he became a slave. He worked for a kind master, but then he was unfairly put in prison, and then he was taken to see the king of Egypt. Genesis 37, verse 39, through chapter 41, verse 14. What are you doing to my feet, you silly boy? Wait. Is that better? Maybe? Silly butt. Dreams come true. The king of Egypt had strange dreams, and he was told that Joseph could help him. I saw 7 thin, skinny cows eat up 7 plump, fat cows, said the king. Moo, 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 moo. Yeah, cows. Or you could use a napkin instead of having the dog clean your fingers. Now you're gonna go for another Cheeto with that dog's flying hand. I'm glad you two have a special bond. It's gross, but I'm glad you have that bond. Then I saw 7 dried up stalks of wheat eat up 7 healthy stalks of wheat. It means there will be 7 years where there will be plenty to eat, said Joseph. Then there will be 7 years where there will be nothing to eat at all. Then Joseph became an important person in Egypt, almost as important as the king himself. He helped people save up lots and lots and lots of food. The people of Egypt did not go hungry, but everyone in Joseph's family in Canaan was very hungry. Soon Joseph's brothers came to buy food. They bowed low before Joseph. They didn't know who he was. Joseph remembered how jealous they had been of him. Joseph remembered the horrible things they had done to him. Joseph remembered the dream he had had when the sun, the moon, and the stars bowed down to him, and he knew that God had made everything good again. I am your brother, said Joseph. Bring our father here so we can all be together again. We will all have plenty to eat. Genesis 41 through 47. Little baby Moses. Wah! Cried little baby Moses. Wah! Moses' mom was terribly afraid that the king or his soldiers would hear him crying. And as he grew bigger, his tears grew bigger, and he cried even more loudly. That's not a good sentence. Wah! 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 Oh dear, said Moses' mom. I wish you wouldn't cry so loudly. The king doesn't like baby boys one bit. He doesn't like baby boys at all, because they will grow up into men who might fight him. Can't let him hear you. He might get so angry that he will kill you. Then Moses' mom had a very good idea. She made a basket out of straw and sticky tar that would float safely on the water. Then she laid baby Moses inside it. Go and watch, said Moses' mom to Moses' big sister, Miriam. Miriam hid by the river and watched her baby brother bobbing along in the basket. First he giggled and cooed. Then he cried, Wah! And who should come along but the king's own daughter? Oh, said the princess, a baby. I'll take care of you, little baby. I'll find a nanny to help you, said Miriam. And she brought her own mom, baby Moses' mom. Now everyone was happy, and God had kept baby Moses safe. Exodus 2, verse 1 through chapter 10. The king who said no. Oh, those baggy kings. Moses grew up to be a great leader of his people. One day, God's voice called to him out of a bright burning bush. Moses, you are going to lead my people out of Egypt to a better country, said God. Oh, no, I'm not, said Moses fearfully. He shivered in his shoes. Oh, yes, you are, said God firmly. And take off those shoes. This ground you are standing on is holy and special. You are going to make the king of Egypt let my people go. But I promise I will help you. Okay, God, said Moses with a sigh. I'll do what you ask. After that, all sorts of things happened. Let my people go, said Moses to the king of Egypt. But the king of Egypt wouldn't listen. So the rivers turned red. Yuck. There was no fresh water. There were frogs and gnats and flies everywhere. hopping and humming and buzzing. Animals and people got sick. Huge hailstones rained down from the dark sky. Clouds of insects came, chewing and chomping at the crops until the ground was bare. "Let my people go," said Moses to the king. But still the king said no. Finally, when every firstborn son and animal in Egypt died, Moses led his people away from Egypt. Exodus 3 through 12. Follow the leader. Every day a tall cloud showed Moses and the people where to go. Every night a tall fire gave them light and showed them where to rest. When they reached the Red Sea, Moses lifted his special wooden stick and the wind started blowing. The water flowed to each side and everyone went across. God provided food called manna when the people were hungry. It appeared on the ground early in the morning and tasted sweet like honey. God provided water when they were thirsty. Moses touched a rock with his special wooden stick, and water flowed out. But still not everyone was happy. The people grumbled day by day. The people followed Moses day by day, and Moses followed God day by day. One day Moses talked with God high up on a mountain. Thunder rumbled and clouds covered the mountain. The people were afraid. But when Moses came down from the mountain, he brought them God's rules, 10 special rules to help them follow God and be happy. Exodus chapter 13, verse 17 through chapter 17, verse 7, and chapters 19 and 20. The best way to live. God gave Moses 10 special rules written on 2 big stones. The rules were to make us and other people happy and to help us live good lives. "I am the true and living God," said God. "Don't worship anyone else except me. Don't worship pictures or statues. I am much greater than any beautiful picture or statue. And don't use my name wrongly," said God. "My name is special and holy. Treat it with respect. The 7th day of the week is special," said God. "It is a rest day, a family day, a happy day, a holy day. I am not eating your thumb." It's a day where everyone can worship me together. Even the animals can have a rest. "Treat your moms and dads well," said God. "Be polite and loving and respectful and kind and obedient to them. Please stop making me eat your thumb. It's weird and gross. And don't hurt anyone or even think about hurting them. Don't kill anyone. Don't take someone else's wife or husband and treat that person like your own wife or husband. Don't steal from people and take anything that belongs to them without asking. And don't tell lies or say mean things about other people. Don't look at the things other people have and want them so much that you can't think about anything else." "There you go," said Moses to the people. "This is what God said. This is the best way to live." Exodus. Alistair. Calm down. Alistair. Gave me a heart attack, man. Just made me poop my pants. Calm down. People are allowed to walk on the sidewalk. I don't care. I said shush. Don't you worry me. All right. That's from Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through chapter 22. Joshua's big battle. When Moses died, Joshua led the people. God told Joshua to be brave and to trust him, because he was going to take Joshua and his people into the land where he promised they would live. First, they had to cross the Jordan River, which was wide and fast and deep and dangerous. "The living God is with us," Joshua told the people. "Don't be afraid." As the priests stepped into the river, it dried up. Everyone was able to cross safely and make their way toward the city of Jericho. Then they had to get past the city walls, which were tall and thick and high and wide. "God will give us the city," said Joshua. "Don't be afraid." Guys! Guys, other dogs are allowed to walk in the neighborhood. It's okay. The rare noise of a husky whining. There's another dog outside. Oh, you guys. Joshua sent his soldiers to march around the city walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 times. The priests blew their trumpets very noisily and very loudly, and everybody shouted. Then, crash! The walls of the city fell down. Joshua and God's people won the battle of Jericho and were able to live in Canaan, the land that God had promised them. Joshua 1, 3, and 6. And I think that's probably the best place to stop for now, because we've got Crazy Pants knocking the couch, and the sweet potato chips are almost done in the oven. Okay, so tomorrow we will continue and learn about Gideon. Okay. Okay, that's back on there. So let me. Shush! Crazy Pants! You're crazy. My goodness. Okay. All right. Well, I think like I said, I think we've got about maybe one more of these where we have to pre-record, and then after that, I think his rotation will be enough where we can start live streaming again. So, yeah, but we'll continue reading with this irregardless. So, all right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. As soon as I can turn this off, acknowledge my thumb.